Yo guys, welcome back to another video. Got a little spicy one for you today. A little bit of a hot topic button. If you didn't know, or if you've been living under a rock in the One Piece TCG world, you might have not noticed that Red Purple Law is good. He's really good. Wow, who knew that Black Maria was gonna make him better than he already was? Who could have predicted it? All jokes aside, I did want to just make a quick little video going over like as many of the facts and looking at a bunch of like tournament results as we can to kind of like see, is Red Purple Law really that bad? Is it worse or as bad as SAKAZUKI was? And should he be banned? Like, that's the big question that everyone's already talking about, because it is kind of oppressive and it is kind of already crazy. We're only a few weeks into the OPO8 meta and some things are extremely clear already. But yeah, I don't want this to be like a call to action or just like a gossipy ban video or anything. I want to actually just like take a calculated look at everything, and then I'll give you guys my own personal opinion at the end. But yeah, without any further ado, let's jump into it and let's get started. Alright, so the first thing I want to do here is start looking at some of these charts. And I've compiled as much of this data that I was able to, searching through Twitter and stuff that people have been posting recently. I have names on the next like following slides and stuff for the English, but I didn't feel it was necessary. I can just tell you, right, like you can see the OP5 and the OP06 meta here, and like this is SAKAZUKI here at the top. SAKAZUKI had 8 out of 16, or 6 out of 16, 8 out of 16, then 9 out of 16. This is Osaka, Aichi, and Hiroshima. Then OP06 came out, and really over here it was a much more balanced meta. I mean, I guess it's probably similar in the West, right? With maybe probably a lot more Moria, and at least for Japan, I would say this was like a more balanced meta and things weren't too crazy. But you can see there's still 3 SAKAZUKI, only one in this is Miyagi, Tokyo, and then Fukuoka. But even by the end of OP06, you see like, okay, it's back to 6 SAKAZUKIs in the top 16. And yeah, of course there were some outliers and stuff, but yeah, you can obviously just see how much he really dominated everything. And so these were just the CSs that were going on in Japan throughout the months of November and December last year, 2023. And now we can take a look here at this is the Japan Nationals tournament that was EBO1 legal. That happened like right at the end of the year or in January. I forgot. I actually forgot when it was. Pretty sure it was right at the end of the year. But yeah, you can see here there was 11 SAKAZUKI, 7 Katakuri, 4 Yamato. Let's go Yamato. 2 Green Uta, 1 of each of Moria, Nami, Enel, Reiju, and Zoro. So pretty contrasting. You could see like, oh, if you looked at OPO5, it's like SAKAZUKI dominated crazily, right? Once they cracked the code, the whole game shifted really after that happened. Then OPO6 had, you know, with the introduction of leaders like Yamato and some other, like Enel got a little bit stronger. You know, things were just slightly more balanced. It was a little bit more of a balanced meta. And then I think just with like T-Bone and Brook coming out in EBO1, it all just kind of shifted back, and for whatever reason the meta and like just, you know, the meta shifted back to like SAKAZUKI is obviously just really strong. He was always the best deck in format throughout like 5, 6, OPO5, OPO6, and EBO1. I don't think there's really much debate about that. He's just was, right? And even though Uta won the Nationals, that was like kind of an outlier performance by Tsuki Usagi, and just like he just like we saw on stream too, like 3 of the SAKAZUKI players were just like breaking like crazy. It was kind of an outlier experience. No one was really expecting that, and it's awesome that like a non-SAKAZUKI leader won, but that was like not, if that tournament happened again, I would bet like a lot of money that SAKAZUKI would win. So this was Japan Nationals. And here, this was the World Finals, so we did step back to OPO5 because this was after the Japanese Nationals. But wow, look at that, 11. That's a funny number that keeps popping up. So, and wait, hold on. So 11, 2, 2, 1. Just remember that sequence of numbers, right? So we had 11 SAKAZUKI, 2 Enel, 2 Plufis, and 1 Zoro. Shout out to Kabu. the mad lad who ran Zoro. He was one of the Yamato players in the Japan Nationals. And shout out to Jonas and Jackson for the American players here. Good times. This was a really fun tournament to watch. Yeah, and I was there on that Saturday. That was awesome. Worlds was really fun. And look, I'm not complaining about this. I'm just like showing you guys what the numbers were, right? Yes, it would have been nice to have, like, I don't know, some more variety. Or if Worlds was OPO6 legal, kind of would have been cool, but a little bit unfair to all the Western players, so I get it. But here, this is my point that I was trying to establish here at the start. You can just see how domineering and dominating SAKAZUKI was throughout the entire OPO 5, 6, EBO1 meta. So now, at this tournament at Sunday, once the Worlds finished, they made the announcement that old SAKAZUKI's getting banned with Great Eruption and Reject, and the whole world breathed a silent sigh of relief, except for everyone who loved playing SAKAZUKI. But what are you gonna do, right? So we think like, okay, good. So obviously in that vacuum, we expected some kind of either like power creep to happen by the next set, or like, you know, someone always takes the absent throne, right? When there's no king, there's no best deck in format, which is, you know, to be expected. We all thought that might happen, and a lot of people thought, you know, red purple law is pretty good. Maybe that's what'll happen. And so OPO7 rolls out, and we start getting some things happening. And shout out to Noah for making this. Go follow Noah on Twitter and YouTube if you guys don't already. Shout out Noah, you're the GOAT. He always does streams watching the Japan CSs too, so if you haven't checked that out, I suggest checking it out. I always try and catch him when I can, and it's fun talking to Noah and all the people there. Really good insight during like going over the matches and stuff too. But just looking here, you can see, and I'm pretty sure the Philippines, I know this says TBC, but I'm pretty sure it was Law. I don't know what the actual like numbers were, but I'm pretty sure Law won. So we had a weird, like, again, this happens, you know, Indonesia had Moria win, which is cool. That's awesome to see. But again, more of a little bit of an outlier there. And then you're just, it's just clear, right? We've seen these charts with SAKAZUKI back in the other meta too, right? And so, I mean, what, 35? 30, I don't know if that's the tops, yeah, so 35 tops, and he won 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 out of 6 of these giant tournaments, or like regionals. So here's the numbers, here's the data that's just already coming out in OPO 7, and I want to take a look at this. So this brings us to the most recent CS that just happened on the 9th, this past weekend, as the time of me recording this video. And wait a minute, hold on, let me see if I got this right. 11 2 2 1. Oh no, wait, that's not SAKAZUKI. Yeah, it's red purple law with 11, black yellow Luffy is 2, CP0 Lucci, new OPO7 Lucci had 2 people, and Giga Chad Hancock had a 1. But I saw they posted on Twitter, they didn't play a single Lucci the entire tournament, which is amazing. And then it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense how you made it to the top 16 if you can dodge all the Luccis, which is amazing. But yeah, congrats to them for being like the Giga Chad rogue person. The one last week had a Giga Chad top 4 blue Dofi player who I think could have made it to the finals if he had made a few different decisions in his last game. But still, shouts out to him, FM, really good player. But yeah, getting back to this, right? So we have 11 red purple laws in the top, and obviously the top 4 was all law. I actually thought the CS that happened before this, I actually thought that like maybe like Kalgara or like a rogue deck could kind of sneak in and like maybe out aggro law, and if they just had the right matchups, like there was a Yamato in the top 32 from Aichi. They were talking about that as they were commentating, which was really awesome. And they did make a point where like next weekend in Tokyo, the next CS that's happening, I agree with what they were saying, where it's like law is becoming so dominant that they are going to expect some like slightly more off meta decks that can beat law, that might like come up more. Like you're probably going to see more blue, you're definitely going to see more Yamato, because even in OPO 8 Yamato still has a good matchup into law, where OPO 7 I would say as long as you can go first, it's still favored for Yamato. It's like 45, 55, 45 in Yamato's favor. Going first, maybe even 60-40. If you have to go second, it's probably about 50-50. OPO8, I would say if you get first, it's like 51-49. If you go second, it's probably favored for Law. It's just broken. Yeah, so these are the numbers, right? This is what we're looking at. And if you couldn't tell, this is why I was saying, right? Remember these numbers. SAKAZUKI, this is the World Finals, 11-2-2-1. 11-2-2-1. And this was right before SAKAZUKI got banned. And this is right before, who knows. So I want to take a minute here just to talk about like what's gonna happen, right? I won't bore you guys with like a whole long spiel about anything, but I do think Black Maria should never have been printed, or if it did get printed, should have just been like leader locked to the Beast Pirates. It's completely broken in Red Purple Law just because you essentially like you have no risk of using the Law's leader effect early anymore. If you can get Maria out, you just immediately start getting leader effect for free. And you even, it's messed up because if you have pudding as well, you can like you put the Dawn back and then you get an additional rested Dawn from pudding. And that's not to mention if you have like a kid or an additional like yeah, if you have 1 or 2 kids, like you just get insane value from these cards. Like pudding alone would have been a really good addition for Red Purple Law and OPO8. Black Maria and pudding is just like, it's just GG's, man. It's just GG's. It's way too much value. And like the thing that Red Purple Law, like the thing that held him back a little bit, especially at the start, right, was it was too much Dawn to like it was hard. You weren't able to be efficient enough with your Dawn to really justify him being able to beat the other leaders, or like he didn't have enough Dawn efficient plays that were really like maximum value that like SAKAZUKI couldn't do better or Moria couldn't do better, right? And now Law can do all of that, and it's too much to the point where it's like I don't know, because the thing is too, if this was OPO7 Law we were talking about, I would really just be like I think you need to just let this play out until like the meta can correct itself, right? But with OPO8 Law, it's a lot harder to sit here and just like say like, hey, it'll correct itself. Black Maria is definitely extremely overtuned. I have no idea what Bandai was thinking about. It's like when that card just even got announced, people were like, this is extremely broken, and this is gonna make Law even better. This is extremely worrying. So I have no idea why Bandai was like ever thought that this would be okay. It's like the shocked Pikachu meme where it's just like Law is already best deck in format, end of OPO7, and Bandai puts out Black Maria and they're like, oh, now he's even more broken. They're like, what? No, we had no idea that would happen. But I don't know, it's just really hard because he does. So now we have the problem, right? We have the problem of like a best deck in format leader gatekeeping most other leaders, right? And like I said before, there are leaders who have a good matchup. Like Carrot is really good into Law, but Carrot has a tough time into Black, and like blue and Black, Carrot struggles. Like Mono Green has always had that problem, but like, you know, even in some of my testing, like most of the time I can win with Carrot against Red Purple Law, but it's just all the other leaders, right? So the problem that the problem this time is like Red Purple Law is gatekeeping all of the decks that can do well against it, because the meta has like blue and black surrounding it, right? Which is a pretty common problem, especially in One Piece, where it's like similar to SAKAZUKI, but I think SAKAZUKI just like had more of like a overarching like domain of like gatekeeping all the decks, and it didn't have necessarily the same problem, which is really interesting. Because I do think Law is less consistent, just in like, yeah, it's just less consistent than SAKAZUKI, right? Just because you can't do the draw, you don't have like any searchers, right? So the deck is really weird, and it's really crazy that it's this broken without search. Like, that's insane. So, which is another thing where it's like, if there was any added consistency to this deck, it would just be like it would need to be like instantly banned, right? So to kind of close this off, I don't want to rant here for too long. My thoughts on what's going to happen is this is probably going to play out through OP08, and you're probably just going to see Law get banned at the end of OP08, because while I wish they just hadn't printed Maria at the start, I don't think banning Black Maria or Gordon or Ray's Max is enough to really do anything here, because similar to SAKAZUKI, like we all thought they were going to ban like Houndblaze or Ice Age or something to like nerf SAKAZUKI, right? And in the end, I think it was the right decision to just ban the leader outright, because that now they like open up the possibility for all these other things. Like pretty sure Blackbeard is going to be blue and black at this point, so it also kind of just like sets it up for that too. It like leaves you options to like kind of toe the line of being broken like that again, but in like just a different way, so that at least the meta is different, or at least there's a gap before that happens, right? So if you like point blank put a gun to my head, ask me what's going to happen, I would say it's probably end of OP08, you're going to get a Law ban. If things just spiral out of control and it's like top 16, top 32 is all Law, then I could see Bandai maybe waiting until the mid-July starter deck release, giving it a week or two to see how it does, and if the first or second tournament after that is still just like way too Law dominated, then you could see an even earlier ban. But besides that, I don't know, it's too hard to call. Do I think he's broken? Yes. Do I think it's an extremely unhealthy meta? And do I hate the meta? No, not really, especially as a person. Fortunately, I always like to play Yamato, and Yamato is always good against four life leaders, and is really good against normally it's like whatever the best deck in format is. It's kind of crazy, unless it's Lucy or something, right? As long as it's a 4 life leader, if it's best deck in format, Yamato will probably be able to beat it, right? But I do understand people. I have friends who are like, this is so boring, this is dumb. Like, I want to play even just like not just casually, I want to play like semi-competitively, and I can't even do that because I don't want to play Law, and I don't want to do Law mirrors and all that. So I understand both sides of the argument. I personally don't think it's like the worst, but it could be a lot better. It could always be a lot better, and it's weird because it's such like a deck that has no search, and it doesn't have the level of consistency as SAKAZUKI. Although I do think it's like worse than what SAKAZUKI was at, if that makes sense. Like just his overall, like the potential of that deck, I think is already like, if SAKAZUKI was here, I think Law is like right here. But yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think is gonna happen? I'm pretty sure he's gonna get banned, just don't know when. And like, I don't know, the meta would have to change so much, and if that happened, for him not to get banned, and if that happened, then it'd be cool. It sucks because Law is one of my favorite characters in One Piece, and unfortunately, like the leader type, the like playstyle just never really gelled with me. Even I tried so hard to be good with red green Law, it never really worked. And red purple Law is cool, but it just never attracted me in like the playstyle wise and stuff. But I love him as a character, so it's kind of conflicting to see like, man, like I really like this character, I don't want him to just get banned like outright and no one can play him anymore, right? But you know what, Bandai loves Law, so if you're a Law stan, or if you love red purple Law, don't worry, because if he gets banned, like, just I can tell you what like the next leader is like soon after that will be. It's gonna be another Law. So I'm gonna end it here. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think should happen or what you want to happen. Even if you're just in the West, and I know you guys haven't gotten OP07 yet, so this might be like a little bit too much like talking in the future, but everyone can still see what's going on, so everyone's opinions are still valid, and I'm really interested to hear what you guys think. But that's it for me, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.